Welcome to Power Up Memphis. I'm your host, Gale Jones Carson, the Vice President of Community and External Affairs for Memphis Light, Gas, and Water. The aim of Power Up Memphis is to take you, our customers, on an inside tour of MLGW to share our programs and operations with you. And by doing so, we can all better understand how we function as your utility provider. Today's guests are Tamara Pate, who is a Supplier Diversity Coordinator in the Procurement and Contracts Department, and Brad Gates, who's the Electric Construction and Maintenance Manager at MLGW. So this segment, we are starting with Tamara Pate, who works in our Procurement and Contracts Department. Tamara, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me.
As we are going to talk about a Supplier Diversity and Procurement Fair that you're working on. Now, when is this fair, and exactly what is the fair?
The Procurement Fair will be held on June 16th, 9 a.m. at the MLGW Joyce Blackman Training Center. The fair is held every year. We annually hold the fair to allow opportunities for our certified minority, women, and locally owned small businesses the opportunity to learn more about procurement at MLGW. They speak with our MLGW end users to find out opportunities that are available in their departments. They learn more about the capital and operating projects and allocations in our budget summary with our budget department and our senior vice president, Dana Jeans. It's also a great networking opportunity for them.
So when you say they learn, you're talking about minority vendors who come to the event. They get to meet our staff and learn all the things that we do to help educate them on how to become one of our vendors.
Yes, ma'am. We sure do.
Okay, all righty. And so where is the Joyce Blackman University Center located?
It is located off of Raleigh-LaGrange in the Raleigh-Bartlett area of Memphis. It's one of our locations at MLGW for specifically geared to training, and I'm so glad that we're able to go back this year. Last year we held it at the administration building, but this year we want to return, have classes and workshops for them as well at the training center.
Oh, great. So will it be all day?
It is from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Okay.
And it's broken up into different segments as well.
Okay, so for as long as I can remember, I've heard nothing but positive things about the large percentage of minorities who get contracts with MLGW, that we lead the way, that we are a company that others can benchmark against when we actually reach out and make sure that our contracts are available for everybody.
Yes, ma'am.
So why is that so important at MLGW, that we make sure that the tide rises for everyone?
Well, actually, thank you so much for asking that question. With our city being 60% African Americans, along with additional ethnicities, it's very important for us, MLGW, to ensure there are ample opportunities, maximum practicable opportunities for equity for our certified businesses. You must be a certified minority, woman-owned, or locally owned small business to participate in the Supplier Diversity Program. But it's very important that we give equitable opportunities, especially from the standpoint historically in our country, even locally. Our people of color and our minorities have not always had those opportunities. So it's great that we offer that and we give them the tools that they need so that they can grow their companies and help us sustain the financial growth and economic development of Memphis.
So as we talk about people of color, we also mean women as well, right?
We do, yes, ma'am. These actual certifications include 51% ownership as a minority, as a woman or female group of females, or if you have an actual physical office in the Shelby County or Memphis area.
Okay, so how does a person or people get certified to do business with MLGW?
Now, one thing we do not do, we do not actually certify those companies, but we work with many advocate agencies that can do so. We work with MMBC, the Mid-South Minority Business Continuum. We also work with the Tri-State Minority Supplier Development Council. We work with the Women's Business Enterprise National Council as well, along with Shelby County Government and the City of Memphis. They both offer certification opportunities.
And so we go above and beyond to make sure they are educated to know what they need to to work with us. So I think also, like, for example, we have certain bids that come open. Don't we have training before those bids come open, so interested bodies can see what's coming open and what is required?
We do have what we call a bidders orientation, a
Yes,
pre-bidders
that's it.
orientation. Those orientations are designed for any potential vendor, whether they are a potential subcontractor or a potential prime contractor. They have an opportunity to speak with the user area. We have a presentation for them that walks them through that contract. They can see the specifications. They're welcome to ask questions. We also ensure that there's an opportunity for the potential primes and the potential subs to network. So in the event they would want to venture or partner together on a project, they have that opportunity during that time as well.
Okay, so when some companies choose to be a secondary company, they are actually gaining experience. And so one day they can possibly become a prime. How does that work?
That is the goal for a lot of our, even just in our city, we have a lot of governmental agencies that offer minority women business programs as well as supplier diversity programs, and ensuring that there is a chance for those subcontractors to become a prime contractor. They can, again, they have site visits where they're welcome to meet those vendors. They, again, can participate in the orientation workshops. There are programs that offer a shadow opportunity to shadow companies, and it is our goal that they connect even on projects or prior to projects, but there are many chances for them to meet each other and partner together.
Oh, that's really great. So now, as you were speaking, you mentioned women-owned minority business, and you mentioned Supplier Diversity Program. What is the difference between these two?
Well, certain agencies that offer those certifications, there are specific guidelines based on federal regulation, especially for the Department of Transportation, since we don't offer that. Our Supplier Diversity Program specifically focuses on minority, women, and local businesses, but some focus on disadvantaged businesses known as DBEs. Some of them focus on disadvantaged veteran opportunities. So there are different categories for these different businesses to participate in, but we specifically focus on minority, women, and local business.
Oh, great. Okay. So, well then, okay, so can you tell me about the different aspects of supplier diversity at MLGW?
Yes, ma'am. I'd be glad to. We have the supplier diversity area is a part of the Procurement and Contracts Department, which includes our purchasing department. It includes our contract management team as well as supplier diversity. Through the purchasing team, you are able to submit a request for a quotation known as an RFQ, as well as you're able to procure goods through the purchasing team. And for our contract management team, there are contractual agreements known as C agreements. We have sealed bids. We have an RFP, which is a request for a proposal, as well as a RFQ, which is a request for qualifications. And through these different aspects, there are different ways that you can solicit and participate in bid opportunities with MLGW.
Okay, so you mentioned sealed bids. What exactly does that mean?
The sealed bid is when the project is solicited and the bid comes back actually sealed. There's an opportunity where we have a bid opening. The bid opening is public. Anyone, any company can be a part of the call, and you will actually learn the different amounts that have been proposed from different companies. You can ask, you're listening in to this process, but it's a way for us to have a fair bidding opportunity for any company, so that you can't say that there was favoritism or there was some type of maneuver in the solicitation process, because we have a fair process according to our federal regulations.
Okay, so when the sealed bids are open, who's there when they're opened?
Generally, anyone that is bidding on that project is a part of the process, or if you were possibly interested in bidding in the project, but you did not, and you may want to sit in on the project and kind of see, it gives you a better idea of the cost, the different costs associated and expenses associated with the projects.
So, like I said, historically, for as long as I can remember, MLGW has been a leader in that area of supplier diversity and making sure that there's equality for minorities and women. Why is that important to MLGW?
It's very important for MLGW to know where we're missing the mark and to know how we can meet the mark or work towards meeting the mark. One thing that we have done in the past and we continue to do is we hold a disparity study. And through the disparity study, we actually learn about the disparities that companies experience. And so we are ongoing that process as we speak with a firm from Atlanta. And we're glad to go through the process because it gives us the opportunity to see where those disparities are and how we can better structure our organization and our process to ensure it is truly an equitable opportunity, maximum practicable opportunity for the bidding process for any company. They have that opportunity to participate and be a part of the disparity study as well.
So I think, and not just because I work at Memphis-Shelby County, but I do think that we do a great job in the area of soliciting and working with minority and women businesses in Memphis and Shelby County. But as we come to a close, Tamara, first I want to say I appreciate you being here, sharing your information. What do you want to say to our viewers about the June 16th event that's coming up?
The June 16th event, our procurement fair, this year's theme is changing the game.
Changing the game.
Changing the game. And we truly work towards changing the game for any company. We want them to know we're here for the opportunity for them to speak to us, meet our staff, meet our procurement and contract staff, so that we are not just behind an email, but we're in the forefront. We're available for anyone. During that fair, they have the opportunity to participate in an actual bidding process. They can attend workshops specifically geared to the sealed bid process, the C agreement process, the RFQ, the RFP. We will have the documentation there, and we will walk them through those processes so they have a better understanding. It's an intimate setting per workshop, and they're able to ask our procurement specialists questions about the process as we go along.
Well, Tamara, I want to thank you again for being here. And since you've been here in the role of Supplier Diversity Coordinator, I've watched some of your work, and I appreciate the energy that you have brought to your role and the enthusiasm, the taking things to the next level. You have done an excellent job in the role that you play, and we greatly appreciate that, and I'm hoping that minority and women businesses value what you bring to the table.
Thank you so much. Thank you for this opportunity. This is a great way for them to learn more about the process as well through the shows that you have for us. Thank you so much. You've interviewed a lot of our businesses as well, and we're greatly appreciative of the connection and the support we receive from MLGW.
Thank you for staying with us. This segment we have Brad Gates, who is the Electric Construction and Maintenance Manager at Memphis Light, Gas and Water. Thank you, Brad, for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me. My pleasure.
You have so many major projects at Memphis Light, Gas and Water, so I love to have you on because you bring a lot of knowledge to the show for our guests. So today we are going to be talking about storm preparedness and MLGW's restoration process. And the restoration process is really of a great interest to our customers because they always want to know, how do we determine whose services are going to be restored first? So the last several months, I think starting back in December, we just had storms, ice storms, rolling blackouts, water boil, and just major things that we really as a city and a county just had not experienced, that I can remember, but I mean, it was all back to back. So how did the team, Brad, handle all of that back-to-back work? How did you all come together and actually we restored services much quicker than we normally do it? And we had something, I think, the previous February, and we got our customers back on quicker than that storm.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is the damage assessment. If we can get a grasp and get those outages looked at quicker, then we can get the work for our crews. Secondly, I think we are proactive in getting additional resources on the front end. So we get additional contract crews to come in and assist with our crews. And by a combination of both of those results in lower outage times and fewer complaints by our customers. So we strive to do that. So we're constantly making changes to our storm restoration, trying to get the best improvement, the most bang for our buck for our customers.
Okay, so what kind of crews do we use? I know we use tree trimming when we have storms and outages, because we got so many trees in Memphis-Shelby County, and when they fall into our lines, we're going to have some outages. So what, other than the tree trimming crews, what other crews do we use to restore services quickly and safely for our customers?
Well, outside of our resources at MLGW, we pretty much use all hands on deck here at the company, but we get additional line crews.
Okay.
We get from all over the region that are able to assist us. We invite them to come, and they do a great job for us. They bring their equipment, their labor forces, and then with their combination and ours, we're able to get the power restored in a more timely manner.
Okay, so do we ever have a problem getting contract crews in?
We haven't this year. In the past, we've had, when it's been a widespread event across the southeast, we have had some difficulty in getting some crews, but here in the last couple of months, as you stated, since December, we have not, and we really do appreciate their efforts and assistance, because we couldn't do without them as well.
Okay, so when do we activate our electric crisis team at MLGW?
Well, we have a crisis management playbook, so to speak, and there's various criteria, mainly if it's over 12 circuits that are out, circuits being our distribution facilities, or if we have a major substation event, or if we have some major transmission towers infrastructure down, those will trigger as well. But mainly, normally it's due to the number of distribution circuits that we have. I think if it's over 13, then it triggers our crisis team to activate, and then we start the ball rolling for us getting additional resources.
So how many customers generally are impacted when all of those things you just mentioned happen?
Usually it happens around 20 to 30,000 customers and on up to our customer base of 400 plus. So when it gets around 20 or 30, we start really looking at it very crucially, and then if need be, we activate.
Okay, so this happens almost every storm. If the outages last more than 24 hours, customers tend to want to know, how do we determine whose services we restore first?
Right, that's always a good question.
They think, like, I've listened to people out east think that the people in around the I-240 loop get turned on first, and the people in the inner city think the people out east get turned on first. Or so how does that really work?
Yeah, that's a good question. First of all, we concentrate on our high priority facilities, the ones that provide essential service to our customers: hospitals, sewage treatment plants, water treatment plants, water pumping stations, I should say. And then next, we address any dangers to the public, such as down lines. Those are a priority. Next, we go to the damage assessment, and then the restoration process starts. And during that process, we concentrate on the transmission infrastructure first, make sure the substations are operable, and then we go to the circuits, distribution circuits. There are several hundred people affected by the distribution circuits, so once we get those on, we go to the half circuits, the fuses, and then the individual customer base. We do not base it on geographical territory. We base it on wherever the most bang for our buck is to get the most customers on. Because at the end of the day, we're trying to get each and every one on, but there is a priority for us. We got to start at the top and work our way down. So that's
and so when you get down to individual outages, it takes a little longer, and you're just trying to get 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 on at one time first.
That's correct, yes, ma'am.
So trying to get the most on. So Brad, one of the things I get teased about all the time is I'm always saying, well, we love our trees. We got a lot of trees. And so how do trees really impact? From my understanding, this is one of the #1 causes of our outages. So how does it really impact our services at MLGW?
Right, yeah. Yes, you're exactly right. The trees are the #1 cause of our outages. Yeah, anytime there's a major wind event, there's potential for a limb to fall. And if a limb comes across our line, it could either knock the line down or knock a pole down or knock a service line down. So it's imperative that we step up our tree trimming and start trimming back per our policy to help alleviate some of these outages. And I know that the tree trimming staff with Greg Deaton's staff, they're working on a good plan. I think they're getting some additional resources on board. So I think we'll see a major difference in the very few next months to improve our tree trimming.
And that's great, but even when we trim the trees off our lines and stuff, if we get a lot of precipitation and the ground is wet, then even if the trees have been trimmed, they can be pulled up by their roots, fall into houses, cars, and vehicles. And we ask customers not to touch down power lines.
That's exactly right. Yeah, please don't.
So, what are some things that customers can do to be prepared for outages?
I think the number one would be to be aware. Watch the news programs, the weathers, and see any kind of changes or updates in the weather pattern. Secondly, have a safe place for you and your family to go during an event. Make sure your phone and tablets are fully charged. And if you do plan on using a generator, make sure it is fueled and that you're familiar with how to use it and make sure it runs under a load. And most importantly, have an emergency kit available, a survival kit, including bottled water, canned goods, medicines, first aid kits, flashlight and batteries. All those are pretty crucial to have in an event.
And so those things you just listed are also things that are good for people to do and to have before their services are restored. But also going back to the generator, where are some areas customers should not put their generators that could be dangerous?
Yeah, you definitely should not have it inside your home or even in the garage. It needs to be an area where it's highly ventilated to keep the carbon dioxide fumes from entering your house.
Okay. So are generators expensive?
They can be. For the ones that you would need to, power your house, yes, I'd say it's several, thousands of dollars. There are some experts out there that ones can contact, electricians as well, because they'll be the ones that will have to hook them up for the bigger size generators. But you can contact them and they can give you some more information on those generators. But yeah, they can be.
Okay, so I do know that we are working on a 5-year infrastructure plan, which will harden our system, and hopefully our customers will see fewer outages, shorter outages. So where are we on the infrastructure plan?
Well, we're on full year 2.
Okay.
So number 1 is improving the tree trimming. So we're fixing to get involved with that very heavily, installing distribution automation on our facilities, replace aging infrastructure, and then removing some of this open wire secondary. That's our main focuses. Like I stated, we're in year 2. We're working hard. We have contract resources as well as our crews doing this kind of work. So I think in the next 2 to 3 additional years, you're going to see a major improvement in our outage numbers.
So people won't be saying that when the wind blows, they have an outage.
That's correct. They need to be patient and be acceptance of us cutting their trees, right? That's the main thing.
Not complain about the trees being cut out of our lines.
That's it.
Okay, so one of the things that we constantly hear questions about, Brad, is the use of underground, putting more of our equipment underground. So what are the advantages and disadvantages of having more, other than it's extremely expensive, more of our wires and equipment underground? What are some of the negatives about that and positives as well?
I think the most negative aspect would be the cost. It is extremely cost, and I'm not sure if it's cost effective, to be honest with you. The positive, it does eliminate opportunity for lines to get knocked down by trees, because usually on the underground they're in the front versus some of the rear. But one other disadvantage would be that even though the services or the distribution may be underground, it is fed overhead from a certain point, whether it be transmission or circuit-wise. There's still some overhead portion that can be affected by winds, tree limbs, etc. So it's a good thought, and it's good in some areas, but it's not a good fit for all areas, in my opinion.
And also, when we have equipment underground, doesn't it take longer, number one, to find it and then to repair it?
It does. We are constantly working on our GIS records to improve the feed points. That's one of the biggest things we encounter, is trying to figure out and ensure we have the right feed point labeled on our mapping system. So we're constantly working with that. And yes, and the equipment is much more expensive and cumbersome too for some of the location, because these boxes are a lot bigger than just a service drop aerial. These are on the ground, and they take up fence space or yard space or building space. So it is a little bit tricky to find a spot to put it in.
Okay, so as we close this segment, which I greatly appreciate you being on here and sharing this information with our viewers, are there any tips or information you would like to share with our viewers regarding dealing with outages as we have them?
Yeah, I would just encourage everyone to be patient and supportive. MLGW does not like storms or outages. We prefer to work on our capital work and our system plan, as you stated. So we have crews and outside contract resources working 24/7, multiple days. So I just encourage everyone to be patient, be supportive, and work as a team. That way we can get through these catastrophic events when they occur.
Yeah, and I do want to point out that when we do have these storms, as you mentioned, we have crews that are working 16-hour shifts. We work 24/7. They leave their homes. Many of them have outages just like the rest of our customers. But one of the things that we constantly ask our customers to do is to sign up for our text alerts, because if you get our text alerts, you'll learn about the outages that are going, status of the outages, also outages at your home, my account information, bill information. So it is such a valuable tool to download the MLGW app and sign up for our text alert. That is, if you get it, I promise you will love it. It gives you just a lot of information that you will find valuable. And Brad, I want to thank you again for being here with us and sharing all the information that you've shared. Thank you.
No problem. I enjoyed it. Thank you.
Memphis Light Gas and Water strives to be a good corporate neighbor, and one of the ways that we do that is by giving back to our community. We also strive to be a good corporate neighbor, and we also do that by giving back to our community. On March 28, 2023, MLGW hosted an Information Technology Day for 31 students and 12 teachers from Memphis-Shelby County Schools. Cordova, Sheffield, and George Washington Carver High School students spent most of the day learning about how MLGW uses IT in various departments. On April 18th, MLGW hosted the first mobile food pantry of the year. And we held that at Macedonia MB Church Boxtown, and we began early that morning and continued to work giving out food and beverages until around 1 p.m. There were 264 people served during the food pantry. We want to thank you for allowing us to share with you some of the ways that we are giving back to our community.
How prepared you are for a power outage is the difference between a stressful situation and a minor inconvenience. Make an emergency plan, pack a kit with first aid supplies, bottled water, and a flashlight, and stay informed using the MLGW outage map on your laptop or mobile device. To report a power outage, gas leak, or downed line, just give us a call. Be prepared and stay connected by using the MLGW app and follow us on social media. A little prep goes a long way. MLGW, serving you is what we do.
At MLG&W, we're working hard to make your life simpler. With our new prepay option, you have the flexibility to choose when you pay your bill. Pay a little each week or once a month. You're in control. And with prepay's simple-to-use interface, you can initiate payments, set balance alerts, and track your balance and usage in real time. Plus, with prepay, there are no late fees, deposits, or reconnection fees. Avoid any end-of-month surprises with MLG&W's prepay system. Come into a location and sign up today.
You're watching the Library Channel, a broadcast service of the Memphis Public Libraries and the City of Memphis.